Welcome in, everybody. Yo, it is draft season, and next week we do have the NFL draft. And I'm telling you, if you guys are nearly as excited as I am, I'm telling you right now, I am absolutely stoked for the NFL draft. I wanted to do a little bit something special today, especially live with everybody here. I want to go over Bucky Brooks' 3.0 mock draft. I have not looked at this mock draft yet. I literally had just pulled it up, got it to the first pick right here, and then we're going to go over it together and really see where we are in this entire situation, right? So there's a lot of things that we need to cover. We need to break down that if some of these things did happen, I would love to see kind of where we are in this entire situation. Now, if you are watching this on the replay, guys, we are live right now. You guys can catch me live, I would say quite a bit as of right now. We're gonna be getting live a lot earlier, but we're gonna be going over a lot of things, right? Especially after the NFL draft, we're kicking it into all gear. We're posting multiple videos each and every week to help keep you guys informed and up to date on all of the information. But without further ado, we're gonna go right into the very first pick that Bucky Brooks has, and it's pretty much everybody's first pick. It's gonna be Caleb Williams, right? The quarterback out of USC. A lot of good things that I do see from Caleb Williams. I personally don't have him as my number one quarterback on the board right now. That would obviously be Jaden Daniels, but I think that Caleb Williams gives us a lot of those, Patrick Mahomes types of vibes, right? I think he makes too many mistakes overall for me because he gets into a problem to where he starts stressing out a little bit and he tries to make it happen, and he has so much moxie that he thinks he can make every single throw on the field that sometimes it causes some mistakes. But they kind of cleared the way out there for Justin Fields, got him out of the way, and now it's real up here for Caleb Williams. They end up getting Keenan Allen over there. They've got a lot of pieces, right, that's ready to make a stand, right? DeAndre Swift's gonna be in the backfield. They still got DJ Moore, Cole Kmet at the tight end position. I mean, just looking at the depth chart, I mean, you just see there's plenty of action there for these guys, and even Khalil Herbert is still on the actual field itself. So overall, Caleb Williams has the tool to be successful. It's just, will he be able to put it all together when it's all said and done? We don't know what the case is. I can't wait to see what happens and if he's able to come to fruition on what he wants to do. But overall, I think the depth chart's there for him to be successful. He just needs to do it. I think obviously everyone knows he's going to the Chicago Bears. I think it's a you set it and forget it type of thing. Everybody already knows that this is the thing. It's pick one. So we're gonna start the draft really here at pick 2. He's got the Washington Commanders taking Jaden Daniels, and I believe in my last mock draft that I did, I think I had Jaden Daniels going number 2 overall as well. I think he fits really well in this Commanders offense, especially with Cliff Kingsbury coming over from the Cardinals into his kind of a spread open offense. I think Jaden Daniels can flourish. He's got some tools there. If we kind of glance over at the depth chart, I mean, you do see like a Terry McLaurin there, Jahan Dotson, even Zach Ertz coming over at the tight end position, which I really do enjoy. I think overall they are kind of built to win. I think Brian Robinson is really going to be the key benefactor as far as running the ball on all 3 downs. But I think that Austin Eckler, some people maybe come in and think Austin Eckler is going to be the go-to guy. I don't think so. I think Austin Eckler is going to be used more as a change of pace back, and not necessarily the 3-down main workhorse like running back like we were seeing over there with the Chargers. So I think that overall this roster could be good. I think Jaden Daniels would rather probably go here than somebody like the New England Patriots, right, who doesn't really have a lot of things around them to really say, hey, this is the team that would spark some interest, right? I think the Washington Commanders, he can make some things happen. It's a very tough division for him to go in there with the Cowboys defense, with the Eagles defense as well. It's a very hard as far as just the group itself. But I think Jaden Daniels, he's got a lot of pedigree. His rushing floor is what is phenomenal. I think he ends up with the Washington Commanders. You're looking at fantasy football wise, I think this could be a match made in heaven for fantasy owners, and something I wouldn't mind taking a high. If you're doing a dynasty draft and you're got maybe the pick number 2, pick number 3, let's just say Marvin Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams off the board, the very next guy, a lot of people saying, do we go Malik Neighbors? Do we go Drake May? Do we go Jaden Daniels? And I think if Daniels ends up with the Commanders, I think having him as your 3rd pick in a dynasty rookie draft, I think there's nothing wrong with that if you need a quarterback, even if it's not a super flex league. So I think that overall, I think that Jaden Daniels can do wonders, especially under this Cliff Kingsbury's offense. I think it's built to win. They just need a quarterback at the helm to kind of steer the ship, if we may, right? So we're going over to the 3rd guy here. We're going to pick 3. Oh, really? It's not Drake May. They actually have J.J. McCarthy. Now, J.J. McCarthy's having a lot of interest, right? Peaking towards this NFL draft. The closer it gets to the NFL draft, the more I'm seeing people really enjoy J.J. McCarthy and what he can bring to the table. Now, a lot of people that they don't really dive deep too far into it, and they kind of look at the outside and say, well, J.J. McCarthy doesn't really have the numbers to speak of a top 3 NFL draft pick. And while I do agree with that, we have to understand what happened at Michigan with Jim Harbaugh as the quarterback, right? They were a run-first offense with Blake Corum there running the football, did a phenomenal job with that, and a stellar defense. So J.J. McCarthy really wasn't asked to do a lot in the Michigan offense. They ended up going on to the national championship, and it's just how it went. Yo, Fairbricks, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope you were doing well today. Thank you so much. Hit the like button for us. I'd really appreciate that. But going back to J.J. McCarthy, right? It's one of those things that you want to look at and say, could this fit for the New England Patriots and what they're known for? Bill Belichick is no longer there as the head coach. Now, if they bring in somebody like a J.J. McCarthy, he's going to be linked to Drake May forever. When people say, well, you could have drafted Drake May out of North Carolina, but J.J. McCarthy is a proven winner. He's got all the tools to be successful. Obviously I like him better when he's outside of the pocket on the run. I think he makes a more of an accurate throw that way than maybe going through his reads of what I've seen on the film so far. But overall, I don't think anybody would bat an eye too much at picking J.J. McCarthy number 3 overall. I think if we just go ahead and look over at the depth chart overall for J.J. McCarthy, if he ends up with the Patriots, you're looking at wide receivers like KJ Osborne, Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, right? Those are the wide receivers that you're really looking at. Ramondre Stevenson still at the running back position, and he does have Hunter Henry there at the tight end position as well. So not a lot of tools, around him. But if he wants something like he was in college football where he wasn't asked to do a lot, you got Ramondre Stevenson there. I think they're going to run the football quite a bit in New England. I think J.J. McCarthy could actually fit the bill quite well. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can come up with. I think that J.J. McCarthy, would I pick him 3rd overall in one of my mock drafts? Absolutely not. I wouldn't want to do that, but that's just me. Let's move on to the next guy. We're talking about the Cardinals now, and this is where there's so much going on right now. Who's going to go what? But most of the consensus is talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. Going there with the 4th pick to the Arizona Cardinals, and I think this is a phenomenon. I think this is if the 3 teams ahead of him did not need quarterbacks, Marvin Harrison Jr. would have already been off the board. So this is a great opportunity for Marvin Harrison Jr. to go to a team not like the Patriots or something like that who's a rebuilding. If Marvin Harrison Jr. goes to the Patriots, I think that is going to be a killer for his career. I like him a lot more with the Arizona Cardinals, and I think just overall with Kyler Murray throwing him the football, that could set him up for a ton of success. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be clearly the number 1 wide receiver if he goes to the Cardinals. Even looking at the depth chart here just a little bit, Marvin Harrison Jr. be the number 1 wide receiver, followed over there with Michael Wilson, probably Greg Dortch into the slot. Even at the running back position, James Conner looking really good, and Trey McBride, that tight end who came out kind of out of his shell last year. Love seeing that opportunity from Marvin Harrison Jr. So we're going to move right along here, talk about the Chargers here. Chargers end up going with Joe Alt, the offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. I like Joe Alt. I think he is clearly probably the best tackle in this draft. I wish that my team, the New Orleans Saints, would be able to grab Joe Alt, but I know that's not happening. Joe Alt's going to go. He's a top pick in the draft. And again, he could have been a number 2 overall pick right behind Marvin Harrison Jr. if these teams wasn't so quarterback needy. He is that good of a tackle. He's got a lot of grit, right? He's there. He's strong at the point of attack, and I'm telling you, he can do everything for you. He is a bookend tackle, kind of a set it and forget it type of guy. Gonna be that way for a long time. I like this opportunity, and it'll help, you guys. They just signed J.K. Dobbins at the running back position. And again, I tell you guys on this channel all the time, don't always just look at the running backs and the wide receivers and everything's going on. Fantasy football can be impacted on offensive line play as well. We have to look at that. If the offensive line is improving, so the run blocking is improving, the pass blocking is improving, it's giving more opportunity for the quarterback to throw the football and giving larger holes for the running back to run through. So I'm liking something. If J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy, he should be the number 1 running back there, assuming they don't grab a running back later on. I still think I have a prediction of Blake Corum linking back up with Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. I think that's going to happen. which he ended up could be taking over that lead role with J.K. Dobbins. Most likely going to be getting hurt, God forbid, but that's just what his MO is nowadays. So, but Joe Alt going to the Chargers, I like that situation. Moving right along here, we're going to the Giants here. Hey, let's do it like this, so we're not exposing the next picks, right? That would make it a little bit easier for us. Malik Neighbors, right, the wide receiver out of LSU, did really, really well, right? Going to the Giants, they need a wide receiver. A lot of times they're saying, well, man, at this point, why don't they take Drake May or Bo Nix or something like that? They need a quarterback. I don't think they need a quarterback. I don't think Daniel Jones is that bad. Daniel Jones, he just hurt all the time, right? He's got all the tools to be successful. We've seen some success. Just a couple years ago, he brought the Giants to the playoffs and looked really well. So I think getting him some help is going to be key number one, right? They ended up getting rid of Saquon Barkley. Now they end up getting Devin Singletary in there. If you're looking at this depth chart, Devin Singletary definitely there at the running back position. I think he did really well for the Texans. I think he can do really well as the main ball carrier for the Giants. You're looking at Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, some of the other wide receivers. Other than Malik Neighbors, I think he could fit in quite nice. Could be the number one wide receiver for this team, and I don't think anybody would bat an eye at that situation. I think it's a perfect pick for them. The Giants need some help on that wide receiver position, and Malik Neighbors can definitely give it to him. He's a very, very electric wide receiver. Can make some plays down the field. Pretty good at all three levels of the field, right? Got very reliable hands, and he's got a lot of good athleticism, which I really do like. I love watching Malik Neighbors come off the board this early. So. Moving right along here to number 7, the Tennessee Titans are taking Fashanu. Fashanu is another one of those tackles that I really like. He's kind of closer to Joe Alt than what people may think. I think overall a decent tackle. There's a lot of offensive tackles that's going to be in the first round of this draft. There's a lot of good ones out there. But Joe Alt's clearly the number 1. I think Fashanu, to me, is the clear number 2. Tennessee Titans need something, right? They got Will Levis now at the quarterback position, and they got some wide receivers out there. DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley is now there, so that's always a good thing. The Tennessee Titans are moving on from Derrick Henry, right? So it's going to be a new show in town, right? It's going to be a little bit of Tony Pollard in there, a little bit of Tajay Spears. I think overall it's pretty good for Fashanu. It's what they need to do. They need to not only give Will Levis some more time, but they need to open up those running lanes. I think Fashanu could help do that. Let's move right along here to number 8. We got Dallas Turner, the best defensive player in this draft, in my opinion. Dallas Turner is a ferocious edge runner. He can get after the quarterback. And the Atlanta Falcons, they've already built the offense up, right? They've got a lot of the tools on offense with Kirk Cousins coming to town, Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts. They've got all the weapons, right? They've got them all. Now they need to start building that defense up a little bit. Dallas Turner will be the start of that. No other really no analysis needed for that. Dallas Turner, he's going to be electric. I wish he was on the Saints as well, as far as just having a nice, ferocious pass rusher. Dallas Turner gives you all of that. Move over here, number 9 here, the Chicago Bears. Now, we already seen he got Caleb Williams. Now we're looking at Rome Odunze. Oh man, if they can come away with this draft with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, I think that you are looking at a sweet future, right, for the Chicago Bears. Even just look at the depth chart again. Now we're plugging in Rome Odunze. You're looking at Caleb Williams at the quarterback position. You're looking at DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, all at the wide receiver position. And then you got the tight end position as well. Look, listen, if they can build these pieces along, nice younger pieces, they're getting younger as they're stacking the box here. Whether it's Cole Kmet being a little bit younger, Rome Odunze being really young, even though they got the older Keenan Allen and stuff, you got a nice little mixture of young and old there. There's some veterans there to kind of teach the people the ropes. I think the Bears are doing things the correct way. I love this pick, Rome Odunze at number 9 for the Chicago Bears. I know a lot of mock drafts have had these guys trading this pick away, trading down, grabbing some more picks. But I like just, you got 2 picks in the top 10. Make it work, right? Go and strike gold and try to make something happen. Love a Rome Odunze at number 9. Moving number 10 here, the Jets going with Brock Bowers instead of what I'm mocking it as an offensive tackle. I think they need to keep Aaron Rodgers upright. But, I mean, they need more playmakers, right? And then one of the things that they don't really have, they had Tyler Conklin at the tight end position, would be a tight end. Brock Bowers gives another electric toy for Aaron Rodgers to use, right? Let's look at the depth chart just a little bit here. Aaron Rodgers definitely at the quarterback position. Breece Hall at that running back position. You're going to slot in here Brock Bowers taking over Tyler Conklin's job, right? Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, 2 wide receivers out there. I even like Xavier Gibson. These are some decent weapons for Aaron Rodgers. Probably some of the best collectively as far as targets goes that he's had in quite some time. So I'm liking the pick to the 10th to the Jets. I still think that they need to do a little bit more on the offensive line than that. So Dynasty Life Fantasy Football, how are you? What's going on, my friend? Yo, good to see you, man. Hit the like button for your boy, man. Thank you so much, man. Again, guys, if you are catching this on the flip side, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. And then we are live as well. So we're starting to go live a lot more now. But be able to swing in here and come into the conversation, talk about what's going on. We'd love to go back and forth with everybody. So, but yeah, going back over to the 10th pick to the Jets, right? We're looking at Brock Bowers here, and just a situation. Oh, look at this. Get up out of my way. This is the thing about going to NFL.com, right? So Brock Bowers at pick number 10. There could be a better situation that goes along with this, right? So I think Aaron Rodgers, we got to look at what happened to him last year. He ended up getting hurt at the very beginning of the game. First play or two of the game, he's out, right? So we've got to keep this guy upright no matter what happens. And I think that going a tight end, yes, gives him some more play out there, right? But I just think the protection is more needed. Dynasty Life Football says a Dunze pick gotta hurt DJ Moore a little. I kind of agree with that slightly, right? I think DJ Moore is going to take a decrease anyway with Keenan Allen coming to town. Keenan Allen is more of a PPR type monster, more of a, you know, the go-to type of guy, which I think is going to be really, really useful for a quarterback like Caleb Williams there. Rome Odunze, I think for the most part, if he goes with the Bears, I think he'll be relatively irrelevant for the first season, especially while, you know, Keenan Allen is still there. Now, DJ Moore, again, he can still use his screen plays. I think it'll be still fine for DJ Moore and Keenan Allen overall. But Rome Odunze, I think he'll be used as a wide receiver 3 for the Bears. I think it will be more of a learning season for him. In my opinion, maybe not hurt him as bad, but yes, if you got Rome Odunze on this team, I think overall it's going to be kind of like the Houston Texans situation, right? When you got the Diggs and you got Nico Collins and Tank Dell. When you have 3 capable wide receivers, it's going to be really hard to end up having fantasy relevance week in and week out, right? One week you might have a DJ Moore week, next week you might have a Keenan Allen week, one week you might have a Rome Odunze week. So it's gonna be frustrating as a fantasy owner, right? So not be able to have that consistency of what you need week in and week out, I think it's more of a headache overall for fantasy managers than it is for the NFL, because the NFL overall, I think it's gonna be great. But if Rome Odunze comes to this team, I think it not only really hurts DJ Moore, but it's going to hurt Keenan Allen anyway, just because it's going to be some weeks where your player's not performing. So it is what it is. Dynasty Life Fantasy Football says, I like it for the Jets. New rookie contract now. Garrett Wilson and Bowers to build around for the future. Absolutely. I think it's a great pick for the Jets, right? My thing is I'm looking at the safety for Aaron Rodgers, and I really wish that they would take a tackle at that position, like a Fuaga. Fuaga would be great, nasty play. He can also play tackle, can play guard as well. So I think that's who I have him. I think my last mock that I had put out on this channel, I had Fuaga going at 10. I had Brock Bowers falling quite a bit. So we're going to move right along here. Let's move over to pick 11. We're talking about Drake May. Finally comes off the board here with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I'm a tale of two tapes here, right? Because, man, you don't really know what you're going to get out of the quarterback position as of right now, right? So there's a couple ways that this could happen, right? If we're going to glance at the depth chart just a little bit here and kind of see what happens if Drake May slots in there. Drake May, if he goes to pick 11, he's not starting. Let's just be honest. We're calling a spade, right? If he goes to the Minnesota Vikings, we got Sam Darnold there. He came in to be the starting quarterback. They're going to give him every opportunity to succeed. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings go to the quarterback. Sam Darnold's still a relatively young quarterback. And the one time he was put around with weapons was at the 49ers when he played. And when he played with the 49ers, he actually did really well. He played well. Look at the teams that he was with. He would end up with the Jets. They didn't have a lot around him. He couldn't perform. He went to the Carolina Panthers. Not a lot around him. He couldn't perform. He goes to the 49ers. He can actually perform. Now going to the Minnesota Vikings with a wide receiver, or a couple wide receivers, right? Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. I like Trent Sherfield, the wide receiver they ended up getting over there from Buffalo. They're putting some pieces together. And not mention the tight end position, TJ Hawkinson as well, right? So looking at their depth chart, I'm really enjoying, right, what the Vikings are building. Kirk Cousins, I'm kind of glad they got away from. Yeah, it might hurt for a season or so. Kirk Cousins was getting up there in age. What are you, 35 years old? They had to move on eventually. They've already said they want to keep Justin Jefferson. They're not looking to move Justin Jefferson, which is good. But overall, I think if you can have Sam Darnold there and he's performing the way that he performed with the 49ers when he was given some opportunity to play with Brock Purdy hurt, I think that the Vikings could have possibly got a steal here, right? Sam Darnold, we forget, a top pick, one of the top picks in the NFL draft not too long ago. He's still young. He's still got the tools to be the man. I think the Vikings could have that. Drake May don't really agree with that pick right there. I think they may need to do more defensive line, maybe defensive tackle, something like that. I think it would be better for him. Or I think if I had a mistaken, I think Jared Verse is who I had them mocked to. I think it was a defensive end is who I had them mocked in my last mock that I had. I think defensive line is where they need to go, preferably. Not necessarily quarterback, because you got Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold, he may not be spectacular, but I think he's a good enough stopgap player for them. So I like the opportunity. But Drake May is who they got over there with the Vikings. So we're moving right along here to the Denver Broncos. It's going to be Jared Verse out of Florida State, that edge. That's what I was just talking about a minute ago with the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Denver Broncos, they need a little bit of everything. Let's just be honest. I think in my mock draft, I had them getting either J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix. I think they got to go quarterback here. They don't really have anything to... They don't have anything. Let's just be honest. Cortland Sutton's not happy. They got rid of all these other players. They just like buy Russell Wilson, you know, buy everybody. They need everything, right? So any piece at this point would be good. I think if they want to go the quarterback position, they may think that, hey, we need to start winning now. So building defense wouldn't be too bad. So either way that they go, I think will be okay for the Denver Broncos. So we were along here to pick 13, Las Vegas Raiders taking Fuaga, that offensive tackle out of Oregon State. This is somebody that I wished would land a little bit with the New Orleans Saints, but that's okay. I still like them to getting any tackle. I'm happy with that. I like the tackle ability over there with the Raiders. I think that could be beneficial for the Raiders as well. No more Josh Jacobs there anymore. It's going to be a kind of a combination between Alexander Madison and Mr. Zeus himself, so Zamir White. I think it's overall pretty good. You got to keep the quarterback upright. You've got to open some holes for the running backs. I think Fuaga could be a good pick from here. I like that. Now moving to my team, the New Orleans Saints, J.C. Latham out of Alabama. Love this pick. I think I had J.C. Latham mocked when I did my mock draft. I like what he brings to the table. We need to start opening up some line. Like I said, Ryan Ramczyk, actually what he put here, you know, his knee putting 2024 season in question. Ryan Ramczyk, somebody we depend on quite a bit, right? And we ended up drafting a tackle last year. Didn't really pan out very well. Trevor Penning, that was his name. It just didn't work out, right? He uses his hands too much, too many penalties. I think getting another tackle in there, getting that book in, another Teron Armstead, we ended up losing him to the Miami Dolphins. Getting another like bookend tackle is what we really need. We need to keep Derek Carr upright. Too many times people were in the backfield sacking Derek Carr before he knew anything, right? So I think offensive tackle is clearly the pick for the Saints. As a Saints fan, I'll be extremely upset if they draft anything other than a tackle in the first round. So let's move right along here. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts going Toledo cornerback Quinion Mitchell. So Mitchell started out in my mock drafts at the very bottom of the first round. He has shot up the board with his combine workout. He did absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of the best corners in the combine. He showed out some crazy numbers. His athleticism, his fluid movement, his elusiveness, everything that happened, it was on display. And then when he's running his 40-yard dash, it was just absolutely phenomenal. One of the better corners. The Colts could use a corner, so I like this pick. It's pretty good. Now we're going to the Seattle Seahawks. We're going for another offensive lineman for Fatano. Right, Fatano was one really earlier in my mock drafts. I have him going earlier than this. There's when you look at this guy's tape, right, he can do a little bit of everything, right? I think he's really good as far as unblocking, run blocking, and pass blocking. I think people can use him in a lot of different situations. I just think overall he may be the number 2 or number 3 tackle in this draft, in my opinion. So looking at somebody like Troy Fatano, it's just seeing him going at 16 is definitely a little bit of fall in my books, but that's okay. That's quite all right. I think Seattle Seahawks gets a nice piece there for Geno Smith to keep him upright. So going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're going to Terrion Arnold, the cornerback out of Alabama. This is somebody, again, who's shown out as nice, linky kind of cornerback. Good coverage skills. I like what he's shown at the combine. I like what he's shown on his tape, on his film. I think overall, really good. The Jacksonville Jaguars needs a lot of help, and I think ever since they were losing their cornerback last time, their all-pro cornerback, I think Terrion Arnold is a good fit for them, and I think it's something that they definitely need. The offense is pretty steady with Trevor Lawrence and Etienne, and you got Gabe Davis is new over there now. Christian Kirk, a lot of options out there, Evan Ingram, stuff like that. So defense is definitely where I see the Jacksonville Jaguars going as well. Terrion Arnold, not a bad pick. Cincinnati Bengals, here we go. Back on the fantasy football world, Brian Thomas Jr. And this is somebody that's crazy because I was the first person I ever saw mock Brian Thomas Jr. to the Bengals. Just the LSU product, right? Linking up with Joe Burrow, linking up with Jamar Chase. Now Brian Thomas Jr. They say 6'3", but I'm pretty sure 6'4", 209 pounds. Brian Thomas Jr., I think, dude, he is one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft class. I think he doesn't get a lot of love because of Neighbors. I think that he kind of overshadowed him a little bit. But we got to remember, Brian Thomas Jr. led the LSU Tigers in touchdowns with 17. Right, he was the man, right? And he would only average like 0.2 or 0.3 yards per catch lower than Malik Neighbors. So Brian Thomas Jr., a big body, a cleared #1 wide receiver. I think he would do phenomenal. Really replace T. Higgins with ease. If you're just looking at the depth chart for them, right? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, which he will not be on the team after this season, and then Brian Thomas Jr. Tight end position, Mike Gesicki, which I do like, and Zach Moss at the running back position. I think Joe Burrow's got a lot of opportunity here to make a lot of plays, and Brian Thomas Jr. gives him some more youth at that wide receiver position. Kind of just replaying, hey, we'll give you T. Higgins, now we get Brian Thomas Jr. I think it's a good play. I like it. Going to pick 19. Oh, where's it going? All over the place. Pick 19, Brian Murphy, defensive tackle out of Texas. This dude's a big guy, man. I think replacing somebody like Aaron Donald is going to be almost impossible. But I think if they're going to at least get close to it, Brian Murphy can do it. The dude's very, very strong. He's got a lot of energy coming out of the backfield. He tries to make plays, good run stuffing ability. I like what I see from him. And the Rams, they could definitely use that. I think that my very first mock, I had them mocked, I think, Bo Nix as a quarterback to replace Matthew Stafford. But I think if they wait, they can get somebody maybe like a Michael Penix or a Rattler or something later on in the draft. Go ahead and get your defensive tackle here. I like this situation. So we're already at pick number 20 here. Let's go over Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers need more help in this situation. They need to be able to have a better offensive line. Mims is a physical freak of nature, right? 6'8", 340 pounds. The dude's a beast, right? He's a really, really big guy. Could open up some holes for Najee Harris and Jalen Warren and give more time for newly quarterbacks, either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, to throw the ball down the field for George Pickens. So I like this. We're going Miami Dolphins, Jackson Powers Johnson. He's a center, right? Jackson Powers Johnson is somebody that I have mocked in every single mock. We know that the Dolphins need a center. This is the best center in the draft. It's not even close to me who this guy should go to. It's the Miami Dolphins, right? We're going to call a spade and we're moving on. That's what they need. No other analysis needed. He's a great center. I love what I've seen him out of Oregon. Miami gets a steal here, so. Going over to number 22, cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry. I like this as well. I think that having a name as Kool-Aid in general makes you cool in my book. And then McKinstry overall, I think the Eagles need to kind of rebuild their team. Now, I don't think they go corner anymore. I think I had a cornerback, either Terrion Arnold or McKinstry or Cooper DeJean or one of these guys going to the Eagles. But now that they have C.J. Gardner-Johnson back in the kind of in the dome here, I don't see them. I'd say in the dome. They don't play in the dome, but kind of on the team back, right? I think that they don't go corner. There could be a lot of other things, but I think they definitely are going to go either offensive line, right, or they're going to just keep statting that defense up, right? So they lost Reddick on the defensive line. You can see them maybe do it like a defensive end or something like that. But Kool-Aid McKinstry, I'm not against it. I think overall could be really, really good. So number 23, Minnesota Vikings, Cooper DeJean. Adding a defensive back there. Cooper DeJean is probably one of my early favorites. As far as the cornerbacks go, he slid just a little bit with these other guys kind of leapfrogging him a little bit. Still, I think he's a multi-talented type of guy. He could probably play safety, he could play corner, he could play a lot of different positions. I think they put him on the Minnesota Vikings. I think it would be nice, right? I think the trade up is via Cleveland through Houston, right? I think they end up getting a nice piece to their defense here. Barry could use it. Another guy, Graham Barton, over here with the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's been growing on my list as well quite a bit. I think overall, not too bad. Offensive lineman, he's kind of growing. The more film that I watch on this guy, the more I like. I think my last mock, if I'm not mistaken, I actually had Graham Barton in the first round as well. So they need to keep retooling that offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys need a lot of things, not just offensive linemen. So looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. Number 25, we got Green Bay Packers taking Peyton Wilson, right? The linebacker, first linebacker off the board. He's another guy, right? He's one of those people that he didn't like jump off the tape for me. I think he's a good linebacker for sure. He's got good play recognition, which is what I see. He can at the point of attack, he can know if it's a run or pass. He can get to that ball carrier. I don't think he's a first round talent in my eyes. I think Green Bay could do a lot of different things with that, but he's got Peyton Wilson going here in pick 25. Pick 26, Tampa Bay Buccaneers going with Latu. This is a guy right here that he's interesting, right? He has some medical concerns for sure, but I think he has a motor unlike anyone in the draft. I think he could go as a top 10 pick, right? I think early on in the draft, a lot of people had him mocked going as a top 10 pick. He's got that high of a motor. So having the Buccaneers have somebody like Latu fall into their laps at 26, I think is a huge, right? I think I even had Latu maybe even mocked up there close to where the Saints were at one point as well. So Latu, not too bad. I think it's a good overall pick. I like him. We're going Darius Robinson here for the Arizona Cardinals via Houston. They're getting a nice little pass rusher here. I think overall he's not too quick from what I can see. I think he's a nice sturdy at the point of attack, can get things done. I think he's a good excuse me, a good run blocker overall. I think I like the pick from Darius Robinson for the Cardinals. You know, I don't think he's a first round talent either, but that's okay. I think you can do a lot worse than him. So going over with the Buffalo Bills, Jerson Newton. So this is a huge defensive tackle, really strong at his pro day, really slapping those pads all over the place. I think the Buffalo Bills probably need to go big at wide receiver. I think that could be better plays in this. Now they do need a defensive tackle. They could probably use one for the long term for you know, getting youth there. I just think you need to get a little bit of wide receiver help. They lost a lot of their wide receiver. They lost Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis. Newton coming into town though, I think it could be okay. It would be better fantasy wise if they went to a wide receiver here. Going over the Detroit Lions at number 29, Chop Robinson, another defensive end that I like, and even Chop Robinson going here. I think I like Chop Robinson more than Darius Robinson. So, you know, that's just an appearance right there. But I think they get a great one pairing up there with Aiden Hutchinson on the pass rush. I like this situation. I think the Detroit Lions get them a steal right here with Chop Robinson. High motor guy, really good play, pass rusher. I like it. Going over number 30 right here, Tyler Guyton, another offensive tackle. Again, there's so many tackles in this draft class. I like a lot of these guys. Tyler Guyton could be drafted a lot earlier if it wasn't for some of the other guys in this draft class. Baltimore Ravens get a steal there. 31 right here, we got the 49ers grabbing Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins, when this first started out, he was actually my number one cornerback out of Clemson. He was my number one corner, and he's dropped quite a bit as well, as everybody else was kind of, you know, leapfrogging him a little bit. 49ers definitely need a cornerback anyway. They need to keep padding their defense. Last but not least, the Kansas City Chiefs go to Lassiter, the cornerback out of Georgia. I don't think that personally he is a first round talent. But okay, I mean, it's all right. You know, I think an early second round grade anyway, so they take a little bit leap on Lassiter, but let's just be honest. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are taking a wide receiver, maybe Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Legette. There's a lot of good wide receivers that you can go at this possibility. I don't believe that they go cornerback, but that ends up with Bucky Brooks 3.0 running back. Kind of my thoughts of what's going on with his thing. I hope you guys hit the subscribe button. Definitely leave a like. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Bucky Brooks mock draft? Where would you see that things go a little bit different? I kind of explained my thoughts and process along this whole process as we go through these things. But overall, guys, hit the subscribe button like I said before. Can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.